hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. How are you guys today? If you're new here, hi, I'm FEARSONA. You can call me Sona, and I'm your friendly neighborhood true crime VTuber, here to give you full body chills and here with another true crime case. But before we jump into the case, I do want to show you guys something. I want to show you a picture of an animal. This is a hyrax. Okay, that's a hyrax. It's a small it's a small herbivore rodent. It is a mammal. Okay. And it just, okay, this animal blew my mind. It looks kind of like a capybara. It's super cute, right? Like it eats plants. Super cute. It's a mouse. Look at the baby. It's so adorable, right? And and then I found out that the closest genetic cousin of this rodent is an elephant and a manatee. How did that happen? How? Where? Why? And an elephant and a manatee, those are two genetic cousins or descendants. Like, it just descended, the three of them descended from the same fucking branch. What? Yep. Hyrax. Yeah, like that's the, I guess hyrax, like that's how you pronounce it. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, that is crazy. That is crazy that they just descended from the same genetic branch, and cool. It's just, how did that happen along the way? The mystery of, sorry, what? Yeah, you can look it up. You can look it up. The elephant and a manatee, those two are the cousins of a hyrax. Like, what the fuck? How, when? I think something went wrong there. I think Sweet Home Alabama a little bit. But no, maybe not. But yeah, just the world and genetics just work in mysterious ways, I guess. Oh my god, it's yeah, it's an interesting fact that I just found out the other day, and I was just like, how did that happen? It's gonna, you know, it's gonna live rent-free in my head from now on. Fabian, thank you so much for being a member for 15 months. And here's to Sona, a blessed streamer. Also, the betrayal is real. The radio emote is just a sign of betrayal. If you post a radio emote, I know you betrayed me. I know who you are. I know where you stand. This is not, you know what, okay, listen, you know which emote you should be posting, right? If you stand with me, if you stand on the side of, I don't know, like, justice. Oh god. If you stand on the side of the truth, justice, enlightenment, then you know which emote to post. Exactly. The fish prevails. The fish dominates. It's always gonna be tuna, always and forever. Stay tuna. But yeah, thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in. Thank you, Shai for modding, even though you're a traitor. Even though you betrayed me. I see DMJ also betrayed me. I'll remember this, you guys. I will remember this. You're gonna regret this in the future. I love how there's like autistic little set, like just posted canned tuna, I assume. Close enough. Ah, close enough. Oh, Fabian, no takebacks now. I'm sorry, you cannot okay, you posted like, oh, tuna. What? I'm sorry. What is going on? What is going on? Are you taking it back? No. You've betrayed me already. You've hurt me enough. Why you do this? Shai, why you do this? Why do you guys do this? Why do you guys have to betray me? Okay. You guys, today's case is pretty insane, but okay, I did want to cover another case, but then I was having nightmares, and I mean, unfortunately most of them do not end very well. I am happy to tell you that today's case is gonna be a little different. Well, I mean, very, very different. That is not to say it's not shocking. That is not to say it wasn't an absolute nightmare and a horrible case, because it was. But I gotta say it does have somewhat of a happy ending. So at least we have hope for this case. Renfield, thank you so much for being a member for 24 months. Also, here's the 24 months at this nice place. I am glad that you find the channel nice, and I hope you guys enjoy the streams. Well, even if we talk about dark stuff, I do hope that you guys, you know, like you can enjoy the stream and you can find out something new. Stay safe, Sona. You guys too. Stay safe. Always stay safe. Lock your doors and windows. Well, we're not wrapping this up. This is not the end of the stream. But before we jump into the case, I also wanted to let you guys know that I've closed down our Palworld community server, but instead I'm gonna open two separate servers. So there's gonna be a Minecraft community server for my Patreon members and a Project Zomboid server. So there's gonna be two. I'm currently working on it. I'm looking for the best like hosting, you know, like server hosting provider, and I'm gonna set that up. Hopefully I can post them today. So there's gonna be, you know, two for Patreon members in the gold, platinum, ruby, and diamond tiers. So those tiers are gonna have access to the community server. Hey, so you can come in, we can die together, we can build some stuff together. Minecraft, unfortunately, I won't be able to play as much. Like, I know that, well, I can definitely play Project Zomboid longer, definitely die more times, but you know, like a bazillion times within one round. But Minecraft, like, unfortunately, does give me motion sickness, so yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be playing that much like Minecraft, but I will definitely like pop in to see what you guys build. And yeah, we're gonna be doing some streams too for like both of those games. So yeah, from the community server. I will set that up. I'm gonna try to set it up today, today or tomorrow, something like that. At least like one of them will be online. So so yeah, you guys can stay tuned. I will post as soon as that's done and that is set up. Okay, I think it's time. I think we can jump to the case. Are you guys ready? Guess that means Palworld got their batteries stolen. Yeah, pretty much, cause yeah, like it gets sort of like I'm still playing Palworld. Sorry, let me just switch back to the from the scary music. I still do play Palworld on my own time. I do enjoy it, but I think like, oh, community server wise, like maybe, yeah, like maybe Project Zomboid or Minecraft are just better. And I did run a poll, and you guys, it seems like you guys want those two games. So yeah, I'll just do that. And by the way, it's gonna be Bedrock this time. Like you know, I'm gonna try to set it up in Bedrock, so it's not gonna be Java. It won't be as limited. Like, I guess Bedrock is for Windows and for Android and iOS. So if you have those on your phone or something, then you will be able to join those servers. Okay. Alright, that's it. Okay, now I can switch back to the scary music. Alright. Are you guys ready? Just a fair warning. The case will be disturbing. There's gonna be some content, some details in the case that are very upsetting, I'm sure, for a lot of people. If you are not comfortable hearing about a child, you know, being abused in many different ways, then I advise you to leave the stream, to not listen to this case, because maybe this case in particular is not for you. Maybe you won't be, you know, it's gonna upset you quite a lot. So this is a fair warning. There's gonna be some content that is, you know, involves a minor. Okay. On December 28th, 1992, 9-year-old Katie Beers was beaming with excitement. She was extremely excited because, you see, her 10th birthday was just 2 days away, and she knew exactly how she wanted to celebrate it. She wanted to go to the local amusement park and arcade called Spaceplex. This was her favorite place on Long Island. That day, her godmother, Linda, who was Katie's current legal guardian, and her husband couldn't really spend time with her, but a close family friend, Big John, could. So, you know, he saw how disappointed Katie was because of her family not really caring about her celebration, because that's how it was. It's not like they couldn't spend time with her that day, they just didn't want to. They didn't want to celebrate. So Big John stepped in and he actually offered to take her on a birthday shopping trip and finish up at Spaceplex, which Katie immediately accepted and was super excited to go. Also because Big John was honestly her only friend, and I will explain that in a minute. So the two of them finally got to the arcade, and Katie's mood instantly improved. You know, like she could play games, look at other kids running around, and she simply felt happy. But that happiness didn't last long, because a man grabbed Katie while no one was watching and dragged her away, and to everyone's knowledge, she vanished into thin air inside the arcade. That evening, Linda, so Katie's godmother, received a spine-chilling phone call. She's like, just, you know, she's doing things around the house, she's minding her own business, a phone rings. She picks it up, and the phone call is from Katie. And unfortunately, it's not a happy phone call. Katie is in distress, and she reveals the horrifying truth. And this is actually, I'm gonna play the recording of that phone call right now. So take a look.
It was a man kidnapped me and he had a knife. Oh no, here he comes, I gotta go.
Katie.
Oh, sorry. It just replayed for some reason. Okay, so as you can see, in the phone call, she says, Aunt Linda, a man kidnapped me and he has a knife. And then, oh no, here he comes, I gotta go. Katie would then spend the next 17 days living in a custom-made prison, a dungeon, and living through something straight out of a horror movie. Although that horror film started way, way before the kidnapping. Katie's early childhood was definitely far from picture perfect. Her biological mother, Marilyn, was a very neglectful parent, often leaving Katie and her older half-brother John in the care of Katie's godmother, Linda Ingarelli, and her husband, Sal. So at first, it seemed that this arrangement would, you know, improve Katie and John's situation because Marilyn was very neglectful, she wasn't taking care of her children, so instead, you know, the godmother and her husband were taking care of the kids, right? Like that's, at least like that's some improvement. They have some adults around to take care of them, right? But it turned out to be even like so much worse than getting neglected by your own mother. Like, and I'm gonna explain why in a minute. So it was just so much worse. Like instead of having two adults instead of one, right? Like the mom that was neglecting you, just leaving you alone, basically. Okay, now you have two adults, so there was hope, right? But it turned out to be so much worse. The moment Katie was put in Linda and Sal's house, they treated her like a servant. Like she described it as, they treated me like a slave, essentially. Not like a child, definitely not like their family. And mind you, she was there like from like 2 years old or 3 years old. The moment she was in Linda's care, Linda would just constantly bully her. She would give her a ton of house chores, housework, despite Katie's very, very young age, only a few years old. She would beat her whenever she wasn't satisfied with something that Katie did. She was abusing her physically, emotionally, you know, psychologically, everything all at once. What's even worse, yes, because there was something even worse. Linda's husband, Sal, right, Salvatore, he began sexually abusing Katie. And when she finally turned to Linda for help, at like 7 years old, she was 7, and she finally, you know, she was scared up until this point because she didn't know what to do. She didn't know what to say. She just didn't understand the situation. Finally, at 7 years old, Katie turned to Linda, went to her and said like, hey, you know, like she confessed like, you know, Uncle Sal has been doing some very strange things to me and I'm scared. Her godmother actually got angry with her. She definitely did not believe her. She called her a liar and then pretty much continued the abuse as usual and allowed Sal to continue his abuse as well. In all of this domestic abuse and domestic horror, Katie couldn't really find friends her age because she wasn't allowed to attend school. Like on top of everything, she was not allowed to actually attend school. I mean, she also had like just so much work and chores and responsibilities at home that there was hardly any time for her to play outside and just have a chance to socialize. But somehow, somewhere along the way, she did manage to make one friend, Big John. So Big John, or John Esposito, was this guy, the 43-year-old guy from the neighborhood, who was very known to, like, who was known to be very helpful in the community. He was very friendly, especially to kids. He had even put up posters in the local stores inviting kids to play at his property because, you know, where he renovated his garage, he had like video games and stuff. He was calling himself Big Brother, and there was a reason for it. Also, Jose, thank you so much for the super. Hold up, is Katie sure that's not a witch posing as her mom? Well, Linda is her godmother. Yeah, like it's just fucked up. Like Marilyn was her mom, but she neglected her. Linda is her godmother, but she's also like treating her like a servant essentially and just nothing, not a child. Right? Sal is doing unspeakable things to her. And then in all of this, she has this like one trusted adult, Big John, right? He was called the Big Brother and Big John because he was also an official member of this program, the Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. And this program was run by a non-profit organization dedicated to mentoring children and youth from like you know, from local homes and just maybe like troubled kids from troubled homes. And you know, like this program was encouraging this mentoring system, right, to help them just start, like, just help essentially like have like a positive impact on their lives, right? So this was a legitimate program. Katie found Big John's company comforting. He was pretty much the only adult that was actually willing to listen to her, you know, hear her out, hear about her concerns and fears. He didn't treat her like something insignificant. He didn't treat her like she was small, she was insignificant. He treated her like a person. You guys know where I'm going with this. Is this program still active? I think so. I did look it up. So the screenshot that I showed you was like from back then, right? Like 90s. This was the old screenshot, but I looked it up and yeah, there's a new logo, there's a new like website, so I think it is still running. Okay, so you guys know where I'm going with this because there's a reason why I'm telling you so much about Big John. And but let's pretend that nothing creepy is happening with this guy and he is still a good person. So let's just pretend for a moment that, you know, there's nothing, it's not going the wrong way. Okay, so after Katie vanished, the police were summoned to the Spaceplex amusement arcade because that's, right, like Big John told the staff that she vanished inside the building, so obviously police were going to investigate and search the building. According to the staff, John had reported losing sight of Katie inside the building, and notably the call that was made to Linda on the day she went missing, right, like from Katie, that call where Katie says like, a man with a knife kidnapped me, oh no, he's coming, I gotta go, right, like he's here, I gotta go. So this phone call was actually traced back to a payphone just outside of Spaceplex. as a result, you know, this is a logical action, right? Like the logical next step. The authorities conducted a thorough search of the establishment of Spaceplex and the surrounding property. Unfortunately, they found no trace of Katie, no clues, no evidence that she had ever been there, because she never had. A fact which was still unknown to the investigators, to the authorities, and I will explain later. I'm gonna explain it later. Now the investigation focused on 4 main suspects. They had, well, I mean, suspects slash like persons of interest. I guess like at this point it was very hard to determine, but they were like definitely looking at those 4 people with suspicion. So there was Katie's biological mother, Marilyn Beers. See, 95% of child abductions are actually committed by a close family member, a parent, a grandparent, or aunt slash uncle. And Marilyn was this, you know, dysfunctional and incompetent parent, but she also had a tendency to like suddenly change her mind and make illogical decisions. So who's to say that she didn't want to secretly grab, you know, get her child back for whatever reason, and then blame the situation on Linda and Sal's negligence. The second suspect was the godmother, Linda, who was, you know, as we know, had a history of abusing Katie and using her as a servant. She might have pulled the whole like kidnapping stunt to cover up the fact that she did not allow Katie to go to school, because, you know, like Katie was required to go to school at this age. She was just 9/10, like she was about to turn 10. She's still a minor, she's required to go to school. And yet Linda was not sending her to school, so maybe because she was worried, like, oh, you know, when the authorities, when like CPS gets on this and they discover that Katie is not being homeschooled and she's not really, like, she's not going to school and she's not really being homeschooled, I'm gonna lose a housemaid, essentially. So maybe, you know, like authorities, like police thought, okay, it's suspicious. It's possible that maybe Linda was like kind of using this kidnapping stunt as a cover-up for Katie not being at school, not going to school. And then we have Linda's husband, Sal, which, you know, who we already know is a creep, and you know, he was abusing Katie. So he was pretty much like in on the kidnapping. Like him and Linda might have worked together. You know, that was what the investigators were kind of like looking at. And then the last suspect was Big John, aka John Esposito, the last person to see Katie before the kidnapping. The case was attracting significant media attention, with Katie's family and John Esposito frequently appearing on television to discuss the events of that day and plead for her safe return. Both the police and the FBI placed round-the-clock surveillance on those suspects, but days went by with no signs of Katie and no actions from the suspects that could reveal her location or hint at the location. However, behind the scenes, Katie is fighting for survival and trying to outsmart the kidnapper. So let me roll back to the day of Katie going missing. Let me just read some of the... dang, Marilyn not even looking good. Low-key looking like a drug addict. Yeah, like this one, yeah, it's not the best picture. It's definitely not the best picture. I think there was like a better picture, but honestly, I don't care. She was a terrible human being and terrible person, terrible mother to Katie, so honestly, I give 0 fucks. Also, Linda's picture is not the best. I also don't give a shit because she was a terrible human being to Katie too. So fuck these people. These people, Katie deserves so much better than that. Dude, like Katie deserves so much better, and she's gone through, like she went through so much. And honestly, even as a kid, like she was so positive when I was watching some, obviously I can't play some videos. Like I can't play some of the videos here because YouTube is gonna just take it down or something, but for like copyright. But honestly, like if you saw the video, like I encourage you guys to look up this case like afterwards for some videos. But she was super positive. Like she was even well, I'm gonna get to that, but like she was positive all the way, and it's honestly shocking how positive she was, like how positive she could stay even despite like what she's gone through. Okay, so behind the scenes, behind the search, you know, the investigation, Katie is fighting to survive, to get out of the dungeon, and to outsmart her kidnapper. So let me roll back to the day when Katie went missing. Remember how I mentioned that she was never at the Spaceplex arcade? Yeah, so Katie and Big John never made it to the arcade. John lied to Katie. He wasn't actually going to take her to the arcade at all, and instead he took her back to his home. His apartment was located over the garage next to his family home on 1416 Saxon Avenue in Bayshore, which is this middle-class residential area of Long Island. First, him and Katie started like playing video games in John's bedroom. That's where he was like, he had the console set up and everything. So they were just playing video games, right? But when Katie questioned why they were not going to Spaceplex, because that was the plan, right? She was just like, why are we, you said we would, you know, we would go to Spaceplex. Let's go to Spaceplex. What the fuck? So much betrayal. Yeah, I know. Okay, so Katie starts questioning John, like, why are we not going to Spaceplex? What's going on? John suddenly picked her up and carried her to his closet. And inside that closet, he revealed a small secret door that exposed a dark tunnel. Then the tunnel went behind the walls of John's house and led all the way to a 6-foot by 7-foot bunker underneath the garden. The entrance was secured with the entrance to the tunnel, right? Like the little entrance in the closet was secured with a 200-pound concrete trapdoor. So there was like a concrete slab over it, and it was hidden behind a removable bookcase somehow. Like I mean, as you can see from this diagram, right? Like there's a closet. You could go from the closet like through another like hole, and then you have the entrance to the tunnel, just kind of like behind a bookcase. So there's like another entrance. All right. So the room itself was nothing other than a coffin, essentially like a coffin-size, soundproof dungeon cell. There were no windows. This is actually a picture from that coffin-sized space where Katie was. So there were no windows. There was just this hard, dirty mattress on the floor, a toilet, and there was a TV in that dungeon. There was also a set of chains that John, you can see the chains here. That's the chain. So this was the set of chains that John would chain Katie with. The only thing that he said to her was, "This is your home now." That's all he said. "This is your home now. This is where you're gonna stay from now on." Poor Kate. Yeah, you have no idea. This is just the beginning. That's like it's hard to even say that, but this is just the beginning. The bunker had a CCTV system prepared in advance by John, so that he could actually monitor Katie at all times. Like, obviously not at all times because he had to go to work. He's like, you know, he was going out, so it's not like he was paying attention all the time, but yeah, like he could observe her. And then Big John brought an audio recorder and had Katie record a message for her aunt Linda saying that a man with a knife had kidnapped her. And that was the phone call. That was the phone call that I played at the beginning. I'm gonna play it again.
It was a man kidnapped me and he had a knife. Oh no, here he comes. I gotta go. Katie.
So this is the same message that Linda heard in the sudden phone call from Katie, right? which was traced back to a payphone near Spaceplex. As it turns out, John Esposito had simply recorded the message and played it over the phone at the arcade, even though Katie was never there with him to begin with. After the phone call, John went inside the arcade and pretty much like immediately told the staff that, oh, I was here with my little friend Katie and I had lost sight of her in the crowd. You know, like he was trying to establish an alibi for himself, but she was never at the arcade. He planned, Fabian says he planned this whole thing. Yes, he did. So during his visits to Katie's cell, this is the hard part. If you guys don't want to hear about this, like, I suggest that you mute the stream or leave the stream, like whichever works for you. But you know, it's not gonna be easy to talk about this. Dorothy says, makes you realize that the most dangerous predators are people that live or work close to their intended victims. Yes, that, and as I said, like 95% of like kidnappings is done by family members, essentially. Not to mention, yeah, like other abuse. Also, high percentage is usually done by someone the child knows. Someone close to them, right? Someone who has access to them. And John, like Big John, definitely had access to Katie. They were friends. I mean, at least Katie thought so. We know that he did not see her as a friend. I'm guessing Big John was like Sal, but worse. Yeah, unfortunately. So during his visits to Katie's dungeon, to the cell, right, John would bring her things like junk food, soda, toys, and blankets. And he would tell her how this is her life now. She would stay in that cell for the rest of her life in that dungeon, and he would be with her. Every day, John would also begin to SA Katie. I'm trying not to use this term too much because YouTube's gonna just go bananas on the video. But he would go down to the dungeon, and unfortunately he started abusing Katie, and he would continue to do so every single day for the next 16 days. Bacon, thank you so much for the super. The sigh I let off when you said my little friend Katie could rival the pressure of an air compressor on a big rig. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, oh my god. Yes, great. My voice, my throat, they're going toaster. This is great. This is great. This is a great narration. I'm sorry that I'm constantly clearing my throat, but it is what it is. It's gonna be like that. Okay, so Katie's only connection to the outside world and her lifeline was this TV, right? There was a TV in the room, and this is actually the picture of the TV. So this was Katie's essentially like the only hope, the only connection to the world, and her lifeline. Because see, the TV was constantly on and it was playing the news, right? Like it was constantly playing news. So she was watching news reports about her own kidnapping, which gave her hope that people were still searching for her. It's not like people gave up. There was, right, like this was giving her hope. This hope fueled her more, like fueled her determination to find a way out of the kidnapper's dungeon. Eventually, she managed to steal the key to her chains because, you know, like she was getting chained by John every time, whenever he was not inside the dungeon, she was chained, right? She was chained to the wall. And eventually she managed to steal the key. When Big John left the bunker, Katie would unlock herself and move out of the coffin-sized cell. Like she could actually move, crawl out of the coffin, and she could be in the larger area of the bunker, even though she was still locked inside. She couldn't escape from the bunker altogether, but at least she could move around, she could explore, she could see like, okay, where is everything? How do I get out of here? And she could try to figure out you know, at least figure out like what the layout is, what the space is, and like where could she potentially find like maybe another exit, maybe another, or maybe a way to crawl back up the tunnel and go out through the closet. She even made sure, you know, when she was unlocking her chains, she made sure to count the number of links on the chain, and would later, like, you know, she would learn how to chain herself in the exact same way that John did, whenever she would hear him coming back, so that, you know, she would not raise any suspicions that, you know, that she stole the key and he would not take the key away. Okay. So despite the dire situation, the dire conditions, and just all around horrible situation, Katie remained focused and cautious of anything that John did and said to her. When he mentioned, this is another part that is just, just gag. But when he mentioned that he wanted to take a picture of her with her eyes closed and make it look like she's dead, and then leak it to the police so that they would stop looking for her, Katie knew that she could not allow herself to sleep in his presence, because this would mean that she had like even less hope. People would stop looking for her because she was dead. Like they would think that she's dead from that picture, right? Like he was trying to, he literally told her like, oh, I want to take a picture of you sleeping. Like, oh, I'm gonna take a picture of you sleeping, and then I'm gonna give it to the police so that they think that you're dead and they will not take you away from me. Essentially that. This little girl was so smart. Like she actually, like, besides trying to not sleep whenever like she thought like, okay, he would be there, he would come back home, because she figured out his routine. Like she figured out like when he has to go to work, when he's not home, when she could sleep because he's not there, right? But then whenever he would come, like she knew that he would come over, she would not sleep. She would make sure that she will not fall asleep. And also Katie stopped eating the food that he was bringing her because she was afraid. She did know that there's a possibility that he put something in it to make her sleepy, to make her fall asleep. So she would not eat anything that he brought her. Katie knew that the moment he snapped that photo of her sleeping, it's over. The police would stop looking, or at least they would be less, less inclined to look for her body, right? Because they would think like, oh, well, I mean, she's dead. This is over. This kid is very bright, amazing how smart she is. Yeah, you have no idea. Like there's even more, because it was like getting so much worse, and she still stayed sharp, cautious, focused on like getting out of there and getting him to like let her go. So Big John started telling her, this is another gag, I'm sorry, but he told her how he intended to keep her there for the rest of her life, which I said before. But Katie started asking him questions like, oh, how do I go to school? Where would I work? Like, how would I earn money? I would like to have a family one day, and how is that gonna work? How is that gonna happen? And then I'm gonna grow up, I'm gonna be growing bigger, so like how am I gonna fit here? John insisted that he was earning enough money for the both of them, to support the both of them, and he said he was planning to marry Katie when she turned 18, and he was also planning to have children with her. Ugh. Disgusting. Trash. Absolute trash of a human being. I can't even call him a human being because nope. Yeah, I know. Like he started telling her that he would just, he wanted to marry her and to do other things. Dorothy, thank you so much. Everyone in her life has severely underestimated Katie, and she is proving to be smarter and stronger than they gave her credit for. Absolutely. 200%. This kid is so bright. This kid is just, she's not gonna give up. So in the meantime, as this is happening, right, I can see the messages. Oh my god, that's fucked up. Yeah, it is. And that was his genuine plan. He was not going, this was his plan. Like, as long as he's not discovered, as long as the police doesn't find out that he's the one who kidnapped her, he was planning to keep Katie inside the dungeon and eventually just, I mean, like, keep doing what he's doing and yeah, like, oh, marry her, quote unquote, and yeah, like, he was planning to have kids with her. Ugh. Sorry. Meanwhile, as this is happening, the FBI discovered the truth behind Katie's phone call to Linda, right? Like that it was staged, it was a pre-recorded audio, and this meant that she was never abducted from the Spaceplex area, right? It wasn't like it wasn't her that was calling from that phone booth. It was the kidnapper, and he just simply played the recording on the phone. They also started background checks, conducting background checks on the suspects, and soon they discovered something in John Esposito's past that immediately turned him into the prime suspect. So the background check revealed that he had been involved in the attempted kidnapping of a 7-year-old boy 15 years ago. Some sources actually say that it was a 12-year-old boy, but what's the fucking difference? It was a child, and he was trying to kidnap this child, but failed at the time. I think he was trying to kidnap him from like a supermarket or something, and he was caught, or he was like, you know, he ran away. I mean, I guess like he didn't get like charged with this or something, or somehow like he didn't get like arrested, but yes, like he was involved. Like there was some information that he had been involved in an attempted kidnapping of a boy. There were also accusations coming from John Beers, so Katie's older half-brother. And it actually turned out that John had SA'd, you know, Katie's brother in the past, but it only stopped, and oh my god, this is horrible, but it only stopped because allegedly Big John told the boy, right, like told Katie's brother, oh, Jesus, I just bumped into my microphone, I'm sorry. So he apparently told John that, you know, Katie's brother, that he was, quote, too old now. Ugh. Okay, trash, piece of trash. Now, what the investigators needed to do now was a search warrant for John Esposito's house and property, including the main house and the garage, right? Like they needed to search the whole thing. Guys, at the same time, Katie was still vigilant. She remained vigilant, and she continued to pretend that she was going with, you know, this whole happy family in the dungeon situation. But she was asking more and more questions and how it would work. She was like questioning she was essentially like pointing out the insanity of John's actions and how it would lead him to be discovered and punished even more because he didn't let her go, right? And believe it or not, it worked. Because this 10-year-old girl convinced her kidnapper to confess and to let her go. Finally, after 17 days from the kidnapping, on January 13th, 1993, John Esposito revealed his crime to his lawyer along with Katie's whereabouts, and he led the police to his property, uncovered the underground dungeon, and Katie was rescued. Thanks to Katie's testimony, John Esposito was swiftly arrested and charged with her kidnapping, which concluded with him pleading guilty on June 16th, 1994, and subsequently being sentenced to 15 years to life in prison. And I know what you're gonna say, like, oh, he's gonna have a parole hearing, and he might come out like 15 years, that's too short. Don't worry too much about it, because John would be found dead in his cell on September 4th, 2013, and it was determined that he died of natural causes. And that is not all, because there's more good news. Because as you may remember at the beginning of the story, I told you that Katie was being abused by her godmother's husband, Sal, right? She was also like, he was also a monster, essentially. But Katie refused to go back to the abuse that she had to endure at home, and she definitely wasn't going to let her aunt Linda's husband Sal continue abusing her. And thanks to her testimony, because she told everything to the police, Sal was also arrested and convicted of 2 counts of SA and served a 12-year sentence in prison. And he died in prison in 2009, so another monster is gone. Because he was abusing Katie and her brother too, so yeah, they are absolute monsters. Garbage, just trash. And you know, there's a good ending to the story, because Katie Beers never returned to her mother's or godmother's house. She was actually sent to live with a foster family in East Hampton, New York, and where she stayed until adulthood, until she turned 18, and she was well cared for. Katie also refused to let her past define her. This is Katie now. So she refused to the past define her, and she built a happy life for herself and her own family. She actually got married and had children of her own. She also published a memoir about her life and the kidnapping titled Buried Memories, as well as she became an advocate for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And that is actually the end of the story. What a legend, absolutely. Katie is like, it's hard to imagine what she's gone through, because she's gone through a lot of bad things in her life, and yet she, even to this day, she says, like, I do not let the past define me. What happened, and it made me, in the end, like, I did not allow it to make me weaker, and I just used it to make myself stronger. And yeah, like what she said in her memoir, and what she talks about often is that, hey, she wants the victims, to the survivors of similar exploitation, to just come out of it stronger, and to not let it like define the rest of their lives, and you know, use it to make a positive change in their lives and maybe the lives of others. So that is at least one case that I've covered that has a happy ending, somewhat. I mean, happy ending in a very dark scenario. Katie had one hell of a life she went through, and she found the light of the end at the end of the tunnel. Absolutely, yeah. I guess happy endings do come true. Yeah, sometimes. Like, I'm glad that I could cover this case, because it's one of, unfortunately few cases that I cover that has, you know, that had a happy ending. So at least this one is a very positive ending for, you know, for Katie and for the world, because 2 monsters are gone. Oh my god. Okay, guys, this was a lot. I'm sorry that the case is short. It is pretty short, but at least, like, I don't mind that it's short. That's actually good, because it's also ended well, and yeah, I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to see that Katie is happy, and she's you know, she has a happy life now. All right, wait, let me just do one thing. Okay, I think this is fine. No problem, Sona. Short and sweet. Exactly, short and sweet. Like, because when the case is long, usually it means it's not gonna end very well. Like, if there's a lot going, I mean, no, that's not, I guess, like, some of them do, but usually if it's like a long case, that means something went horribly wrong, and it's just gonna be a legal, like a long process to solve the case. And yeah, a mostly happy ending, I would say. Like, yeah, I agree, like, mostly happy ending. Obviously not great what happened. It was horrible, and I'm sure that it, you know, like, it had an effect on her, right? Affected her, but she kind of turned it around, and she still came out of it like a champion. Okay, at least this one had at least this one ended well. You know, like, she wasn't harmed. I mean she was, but at least she came out of it alive, and yeah, survived and definitely turned her life around. Refused to go back to that terrible house. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for today. That is it for the case. As for other things, I did have something to say, and I'm sorry if I don't seem like very happy today or very like energetic. I did have a rough night. Let me say this. Like, I don't want to say anything like a lot, like, or reveal a lot, because I'm not gonna like name names or anything, but I've been dealing with some artists are just, how do I say this? Like, I question their work ethics. I've been having a hard time with some commissions, and I am dealing with something. I was dealing with a situation. Like, I am understanding of a lot, you know, like I try to be understanding. Yeah, like there's something going on. I'm not gonna like, I'm definitely like, I'm not gonna like, as long as the situation is resolved behind the scenes, I'm not gonna like talk about it a lot or like post anything on Twitter or anything. But the only thing I can mention is that there's a situation. Yes, the work has not been submitted in the deadline, or you know, before, like on the deadline, I guess. Yeah, like the deadline wasn't met, and it was a very clear deadline that I've set, and I've asked politely, hey, can you make this deadline? You know, like, is this possible, several times, and this was affirmed, like, yes, I can meet this deadline. They did not meet the deadline, and I've been getting like, I am understanding of a lot. Like, I know that shit happens, but I'm also very disappointed as to like how I'm being treated. Not like a client, not like a serious client. Like, it just seems like that's how it seems to me. Like, I'm not being treated like a serious client, paying client. I bet that this would not happen to a company, which is very unfortunate. Like, I've noticed that artists, and I'm not talking about like, oh, unknown artists or like, you know, small artists. I'm talking about like bigger artists too. I did notice that they tend to treat me as an individual client worse than they would, much worse. Like, I get worse service than a company would. Which is like, they don't treat me seriously, which is very unfortunate, because I'm paying for this the same money as like a company would. And I've only cancelled an art commission once myself, and I'm a real understanding person about it. Yeah, but they were no contact and unresponsive to messages for half a year before. Oh yeah, I would see, like, I've been there before, like half a year, and I had to file for a refund. This one, it's been since May. So June, July, August, it's like three months. And I'm sorry, but like, my patience is running very thin. And I've been trying to be polite. Like, I keep it polite. I'm just asking like, hey, where's the update? You know, like, there was a hard deadline, like, what's going on? And I can understand everything, but the moment it got really suspicious, like, I'm still waiting. This is the last like 24 hours that I kind of gave them, and the moment it got suspicious, like, the only thing I'm gonna say was that there was a screenshot. There were 2 screenshots of supposed email that they sent me, and I realized that these screenshots were photoshopped, most likely, because the date and the time are exactly the same. It's just that the first screenshot I said like, oh, my email is misspelled, please resend it to my correct email. The second screenshot that they sent me on like yesterday, like, the date is the same as the previous one, so and time to the minute, to a T. So I'm like, what is going on? This is a fake screenshot. Like, what are you doing? That is crazy. That is crazy. I'm waiting. I see, like, if this person came to me, this artist came to me saying like, hey, I'm so sorry, I couldn't meet the deadline and I did not finish the commission, like the artwork is not done. If they came to me with honesty, like, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna like refund you, or I'm gonna partially refund, or not even that, like, oh, do you still want to proceed with the commission or not, I would be like, okay, well, I can proceed with the commission. I will give you another, like, I'm gonna just give you an, like, not ideal because it's wasting my time because I have other projects that I want to use this commission for. Yeah, had they come to me with like honesty and, you know, like, oh, I'm sorry, I messed up my work, this is, yeah, I know it's unacceptable, but you know, like, how do you want to proceed? I would be like, okay, well, it's not great, it's messing up my schedule too, but I will give you extension. But no, they started giving me excuses that they have bad internet connection, like weak internet, and also they send me fake screenshots, which honestly, it is a non-excuse, because at the same time, they just posted like a few days ago that they are accepting emergency commissions. So I'm like, can you please finish the commission that you have already? Because I haven't seen my commission in like 3 months. So that's one. Why are you accepting emergency stuff if you can't finish your work? If you can't manage your work, that's one. Two, the internet excuse, like, oh, bad internet connection. Why are you accepting commissions then? Because internet, yeah, like, okay, well, you can say whatever you want, but digital commissions mean you have to send the product to your client. You can't just say, I have a bad internet connection and I can't send your product because I have bad internet. What am I supposed to do with that? So I'm supposed to just give you money, pay you money, and just be like, okay, yeah, you know, whatever. You don't have to send me the commission because you have bad internet. I understand. Well. I'm very frustrated. I didn't want to talk about it at the beginning of the stream, but I want to talk about it now. Like, I want to vent it out a little bit. Honestly, if the screenshot is photocopied, you should cancel the commission and get your money back. I intend to, like, if the artwork, because I did tell them, like, because they were like, oh, I can't upload the, you know, I have a bad internet connection, so I can't send it, like, oh, it's not sending in through email, and my Google account is storage is full, so I can't upload it to my drive. I'm like, no worries, here's the link to my drive, please upload it to my folder. No, nothing. So I'm like, okay, I give you 24 hours. If this artwork is not in my folder, in my drive, I will be filing for a refund, because this is ridiculous, and I'm still giving them a chance. I don't know, it's possibly a scam, and I don't know how I'm gonna proceed, like, if this is not like sent, if I don't get my commission and I have to file for a refund. I'm not sure, like, see, I don't like starting drama on Twitter. I never liked the whole, like, oh, art call out post or something, or my experience with XYZ, but honestly, like, it's not great, and I don't want other people to fall into this trap, and I'm considering posting a post on Twitter, like making a post on Twitter, calling them out, because that's pretty bad. Like, I love their art style. I hope it's their art style. I'm not, like, I think it is, because they've sent me some sketches before, like the progress sketches, but those are not usable because they are not in the post that I wanted, like the, you know, just kind of the exact thing that I wanted. It was like just a very rough sketch of the design. So I'm like, okay, well, I can't use that, so that's nothing. Yeah, sorry, it kept me up at night. I did not sleep much because I was trying to resolve this, and that's not great. I've never commissioned any art. Was going to, but I don't have the money, but thank God I haven't yet. Yeah, like, I would be very, very careful. Honestly, I used to be very polite, understanding, and I would wait around forever for whatever, like, despite any of, like, excuses that I found probably lies, like as you know, to be lies. Yeah, I used to be polite, but I'm kind of like, my patience is running thin, and I kind of don't think that I can be polite anymore, or like, I will be polite, but like when the moment something sketchy happens, I'll be like, hey, that's, you know, that's quite enough. I'd say you can't pay them. I'd say you can't pay them if they instantly respond with the internet works. It's a scam. Yeah, like I did pay them because that's, you know, at the beginning. I think from now on, I also will have, like, as a client, I will have a policy of like, okay, 50% now, 50% at the end of the commission when the work is done. Otherwise, like, I can't pay you in full immediately. Yeah, it's been tough. This situation is it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and I do have all the screenshots, and I will be, I don't know, like I'll see. I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna call them out or not. It's concerning because I see that they've done commissions for other people, and it seems like they completed some commissions. So that's why I commissioned them, because I was just like, okay, well, the art style is very nice, and I see that they've completed some work for other people. So it seemed legit, and I don't know. I honestly don't know. Just you know, just a message to artists out there. Treat your clients equally. Let me say this, treat your clients equally. Don't, because I bet your ass, if this was a commission from Square Enix or any other company, like the Pokemon company, Nintendo, whatever, like I guess Square Enix or any other big company, I bet your ass they would submit work, you know, within the deadline or sooner. There would no be such, like, any of this shit. There would be no such thing as like excuses, or even though it happens with companies, it happens still, but I think I wouldn't like the, you know, if I were a company, Sona Corp, if I were a company, that I would not be treated this way, and I've been treated this way a couple of times by artists. This is, you know, that's why I'm kind of directing this message to artists. Don't treat your individual clients like shit, and don't lie to them, because I can sniff a lie. I know an excuse when I see one. The classic excuses are like, oh, I haven't been well. Like, yes, I understand there are like health concerns, and if you tell me like, oh, I'm, you know, like, yeah, okay, I'm having a chronic, especially like if they tell me like, oh, I have this chronic condition, then I'm like, okay, I'm sympathetic. I understand. It's tough. But also, it's a chronic condition, which means you know about this. You know that it slows you down. You didn't think to give me an actual realistic deadline. Also, give realistic deadlines. Like with clients, when you're discussing the commission, give realistic deadlines. Don't just agree to a deadline. Like if I tell you a deadline, like, hey, is this deadline possible? And you tell me yes. And then you come back to me saying like, well, I have this chronic condition and I can't finish your commission, or like I can't finish it by the deadline. Like that's an excuse to me. I'm sorry, that's an excuse. Like it might be true, but I'm like, then why didn't you give me an actual realistic deadline? Why did you lie to me that you can finish it by then? Because that's unacceptable. It is, you know, I'm losing money, I'm losing time, you're wasting my time too, because I have other projects. It's not like, oh, I can wait around for your commission to be finished like in a year. So like if you agreed to a deadline, and if I said, like, if I was clear, like this is a hard deadline, then I will be like, if it can't be met the next time, my deadline can't be met, and I've made it clear, like, hey, you know, I've communicated, can you meet this deadline? And they end up being late, I will be requesting a refund, because like I don't care if the commission is gonna be finished after the deadline. Doesn't matter to me. Like I had a deadline and I made it clear to you, so like what the fuck? I'm sorry for going on a rant, but Joshua, thank you so much for the super. Sorry you go through that, Solana. You shouldn't let this get to you. I hope it works out. I know all about deadlines at my work for my company, right? Like it's just very disrespectful to people. Like I understand a lot. I can understand a lot, and I know that there are chronic conditions, obviously. I understand that, but then like I'm not asking for when I'm commissioning someone, I'm not gonna, before commission starts, I'm not gonna ask about your medical history. I'm not gonna ask that. I'm not gonna ask about your life story. To me, you're an artist, you're a talented artist, and I'm gonna ask you, hey, you know, what is your approximate working time? What is your deadline? When is this commission? Like, is this particular deadline possible? If not, please let me know. And I can tell you if I want to proceed with the commission or if I want to back out because, you know, like, oh, maybe I have a hard deadline. But if you tell me that, yes, I can meet this hard deadline and I made it clear, hey, this is, you know, I can't push this deadline. This is a very important work. And you say yes. And then you give me excuses like, oh, I haven't been well. Or, oh, my connection was bad. Or, oh, I got busy. I got super busy. I got so many commissions that I couldn't finish yours. Then I'll be like, then please send me a refund because this is, you know, that's unacceptable and you wasted my time. Imagine us as your therapists. We are here for you always. Danny, thank you. What's sad about the commission I canceled is I've gotten art from them before and they had fulfilled the commission. I would have bought art from them again. Yeah, that's sad too. Like I've worked with like some amazing artists. I don't think I had like, if I commissioned, like I had some great experience with this like small artist. It's very underappreciated artist on Twitter. Like they're not popular, but I had such an amazing experience and they just sent the artwork. The artwork was done, even though I gave them like a deadline. I'm like, oh, you know, like you can finish by the end of this month or something. So it was like, you know, I was asking like, oh, you know, how much time do you need? Like, can you finish by this XYZ deadline? And they were like, yeah, you know, like I can. And they would like just, I don't know, like send it to me within like a few days. I was just like, what the fuck is happening? Why? I mean, that's super early. And then, you know, like maybe next time, like, oh, they were a little late, or like they said like, oh, I would send it to you tomorrow, but then they send it like 2 days later. I'd be like, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. I still had like a deadline that was far. So yeah, like, oh, even though you said like, oh, I'm gonna send it to you tomorrow, but I send it like 2 days later, but the deadline was like weeks like away. That's completely fine. And I've already worked with you, so I have trust in you. But yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for this rant. I'm so sorry for like ranting for so long, but this experience has been horrible and I have not felt this disrespected, and I feel like this person is treating me like an idiot, that I'm not gonna notice that the screenshots are fake. I asked them, like, they never responded to this, but I asked them, like, did you Photoshop these screenshots? Because the time, the date is the same, and my email is, like, spelled correctly at the bottom, but still misspelled at the top. This is not possible if this is a screenshot from Google. Like, what the fuck is happening? So I have not felt this, you know, disrespected, and you know, my time has been wasted, and I, like, someone just, it feels like someone is treating me like an idiot. So that is very, very upsetting. Very upsetting. Yeah, this is the, yeah, like, that's, you know, I wanted to, like, at least talk about it without, like, revealing the names or anything, because again, I don't even know if I'm gonna actually, like, post about it afterwards, because I don't want my account to be known for, like, art drama. Like, I don't want my account to be associated with, like, art drama. I don't want to, like, cause trouble to people, like, even despite, like, what happened, despite what's going on, like, despite of, like, what's going on right now and how this person is treating me unfairly, and essentially, like, it feels very scammy. See, I still don't want to, like, call them out by name, because I'm like, you know what, whatever, like, I don't want to like cause them trouble or yeah. I'm sorry you're upset, Sona. Have a virtual hug. Joshua, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. Like I'm just kind of like fumbling over my words because I'm trying to find the right words to describe like what's going on and what's been happening. Felt disrespected, might post later. Yeah, like see, I don't want that. I don't want that. Like I don't like the feeling of like posting like a tweet longer or like Google Docs. You know, I always like whenever I see those posts on Twitter, I'm like, I always feel the ache of like drama. I'm like, oh, another drama, another like shitstorm in the VTuber community. But like honestly, like I'm considering it. But at the same time, I just want to get this over with and get my money back and just move on with my life and never like just block this person and never commission them again because I will never work with them, definitely. Sona, it's all right. We are here. Thank you so much, Megumi. Wait, that came out better in my head. It was supposed to be a riff-off of Felt Cute. Might delete later. Oh, that's what you meant. I was just like, oh, is that how I sound? I'm so sorry. You know what? I apologize. I'm so sorry if I sound like, oh, I'm bitching about it and I'm like, and I'm being salty or I'm being like bitter and just saying like, oh, I'm feeling disrespected. I'm gonna post about it. That is not like, yes, I feel disrespected. I just feel very defeated right now and. Yeah, it's just not, doesn't feel great. You guys, I'm so sorry again. I feel very bad for just like ranting about this. I just really needed this. I really needed to just like vent a little bit. And thank you so much for hearing me out. I'll try not to bring drama to the channel. I want to focus. I want this channel to focus on the cases, on true crime, on cryptids, you know, conspiracies and on positive stuff, on fun facts, disturbing facts. That's what I want to focus on. I don't want this to become a thing, and definitely don't want another, like, you don't want to experience another situation like this. And I'll try not to, like, you know, vent about like this stuff because I know it's like too dramatic and like too like, oh, drama alert. Oh my god. Shai, thank you. Thank you so much. Sorry to hear about that, Sona. Much love. Also sorry for not being on chat. Car is stuck in a ditch. Shai, don't worry. Please take care of the car. I hope you're safe. Just stay safe and hope you can get home soon. Sorry, I just have to like. And Dorothy, thank you so much. It's okay, Sona. We still love you. I love you guys too. Thank you so much for hearing me out. And I'll try to, you know, resolve it as graceful. Oh, I forgot there's like, yeah, smiley face. Shai, take care. Hope you can get your car out of the ditch and get home safely. Jamie, we love you, Sona. Love you guys too. 15 months. Wow. Thank you so much for being a member for 15 months. And yeah, I'll try to, you know, I'll try to resolve it as gracefully as I can and as respectfully as I can. And yeah, that's that. So thank you for hearing me out. I apologize for the drama at the end of the stream. I hope it didn't like ruin the whole stream. Yeah, that's sending positive vibes. Yeah, I'll try to stay positive. I'll try to, you know, not let it upset me so much, even though it did, but it's okay. It's okay. Well, you know, I'm gonna keep going. I'll keep moving forward. It's fine. Okay. Thank you so much again for, you know, for being here, for tuning in. Stay tuned. And please remember to like this video if you like my content, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications to be notified whenever I show up in my little dark corner of the internet. I'll see you guys next time. Stay safe out there. Always lock your doors and windows. Bury your hexes. Until the next time. Bye. Joshua, thank you. Any fun facts, Sona? Did I have some fun facts? Jesus. Honestly, did I prepare some fun facts? I think I did, but I'm also kind of like confused. Did I not? I'm sorry, I might not have any fun facts. Oh no, wait. Did I? Oh, I do. Okay. Do you guys know when Interpol started? Like when it was like established? It actually was established in 1914 when legal professionals from 24 countries got together to discuss catching fugitives. That's when Interpol was established. 1914. Yeah. When they were just like meeting up to like, oh, let's meet up, let's sit down and let's discuss like, oh, how do we catch fugitives? How do we catch international fugitives? Oh wait, Interpol. Like, genius. That's a cool fun fact. Yeah, it is, right? It's a pretty cool fun fact. They just sat down, they were just like, oh, how do we do this? Ah! Genius! Eureka! Anyway, you guys, thank you so much. Thank you for hearing me out. I appreciate it. I appreciate that you guys tuned in. I hope you enjoyed the stream, despite the sad part at the end, the drama at the end. Well, I mean, the whole stream was like kind of sad because obviously true crime case. But I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'll see you next time. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your evening.